Good afternoon and welcome to Citizen Live at 1. I am Julie Gishura. Thank you for joining us. Voters in Madar constituency are currently in the process of picking their next Member of Parliament in the ongoing by-election. The exercise started early this morning and has been moving along well, although the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, says voter turnout is still low. Over 80,000 registered voters will pick their next representative in Parliament from a list of 9 candidates vying for the seat, which was left vacant after the courts nullified the election of immediate former MP George Wanjoki.
One station where I had a box that was for women and somehow the agents decided to accept what they had requested. So I think so far so good. The BBRs are working. It's a miracle we have. It's Americas. We are really super cool. And now we just hope our voters come out and vote. I've been receiving reports from all over the constituency. And we'll be working to move on our voters to the vote. That's our biggest getback. Following our campaign as God, we've done a very, very serious campaign. We're confident of a win. The other side became very primitive yesterday. We have had sent leaflets, sent that our candidate Karaoke had stepped out of the race. You can see we're here with him live. He's still our good candidate. Yesterday by far the front runner. So all of us behind Stephen Karaoke and asking our voters that this is a very, very important by-election for the people of Lamu. So we need to come out and vote in the election so that we can send Stephen Parliament to a full mandate. Low voter turnouts are characterized a lot because it's not a public holiday. People have to go on work. But when we ask our voters to go to the office or to their places of work or business, we wake up to come out and vote. And those who have to be very, very happy, I'm very sure come by and give them a finish up to vote.
Images there of some of the voting and the court candidate there with the Deputy Governor of Nairobi, Jonathan Mweke, speaking to the press. Now, our very own Kendagor Obadia is on location in Madar. He joins us live with an update. Kendagor, what's the latest on the ground?
Good afternoon to you, Julie. Indeed, we are coming to you live once again from St. Teresa's Girls Primary School. This is the main tallying center for the IEBC for this particular exercise. It is also the home of one polling center that has about 13 streams. That tells you it is one of the biggest polling centers here in Mathare constituency. So far, so good for this by-election. We've not had any kind of ugly incident yet, but there is still a major concern about the turnout. It is still very, very low, and the returning officer is telling me it's now standing between 25 to 30%, an aggregate percentage. That is, as per information gathered from all the 115 polling stations. Let's just get to know what exactly is happening today in Madare constituency. And here with me is the returning officer, Mr. Joseph Masindet. Masindet, please let us know, what do you make of the exercise so far?
The exercise is okay. It's going on well. We don't have many issues other than the usual teething problems. Usually in an exercise like this, there's usually one or two little incidences here and they are isolated, but so far so good.
When you talk about these incidents, what has been reported so far in this entire exercise?
Well, we've had cases, reported cases of a few agents who are trying to outdo each other. I think they're trying to outsmart each other. I don't know exactly what they were trying to do, but one agent was arrested at Valley Bridge. He's in police custody. We will follow up and find out what the charges will be, but it's already been taken in. But generally, so far, out of the 115 polling centers, no other reported case.
You talked about very low voter turnout, standing at 30%, let's say, at the moment. What is the implication in case we don't have, do you have any minimal or the minimum voter percentage that would validate a vote?
I don't want to talk about percentages at this stage because the process is still going on. People are still streaming in and out of polling stations. They're still voting. I think it's too early to predict a low turnout. So we'll give it until, say, 4 o'clock, and then we'll be able to conclude or be able to tell whether it's a low or a high turnout. But so far, people are still walking in and out, and they are voting, and it's still good for us.
What are you anticipating?
Well, I'm anticipating a good turnout at the end of the day. That's our hope. And I'm still sure from what I'm observing, the day is still long. We still have a whole afternoon to go. I don't want to preempt the final turnout.
Thank you so much, Mr. Masindet, for your time. That has been the returning officer telling us what the situation is at the moment and how far this exercise has gone. Quite optimistic of voters turning out or the numbers going up in the afternoon because this is a very, very productive region in terms of trading, and most of the people are still in their shops. Maybe they are waiting for that time when they will be able to now say they will be good to go and queue in this, whether there will be any hitches. But then I think according to the returning officer, so far so good, and there is no law that would say if the voter turnout does not reach any percentage, the vote will not be valid. They are saying they will just call it low voter turnout or high voter turnout, but at the end of the day, there will be a winner in this particular by-election. Back to you, Julie. The Communication Center will keep on updating you what transpires here until we finally have a winner.
Well, thank you for that, Kendagoro Obadia, who's in Madar at the moment. The ongoing by-election, we're told so far the numbers have been quite low, but the official there from IEBC still optimistic that the afternoon could yield higher numbers there in that by-election. More on that for you in later bulletins. Now, the High Court has barred the National Police Service Commission from issuing appointment letters to 10,000 recruits who were picked in the recently concluded nationwide police recruitment exercise. The order was issued following an application by the Independent Police Oversight Authority. Mike Jenga has more details for us.
The 10,000 recruits who had been selected in the just concluded police recruitment exercise will have to wait for a while before they get to know their fate, following a High Court order that has just stopped the National Police Service Commission from issuing them with recruitment letters. High Court Judge Mobi Goge also ordered that the release of any report on the findings of the irregularities following a probe by the National Police Service Commission should also be put on hold pending hearing of the case before a duty judge on the 20th of this month.
I think it protects the process. If you give in the letter, then you tell that it's a certain process, and then
the Independent Police Oversight Authority had filed a case seeking nullification of the entire recruitment exercise, which the authority claimed had been marred with irregularities and corruption. The National Police Service Commission's lawyer revealed that the Commission had received more than 10,000 complaints, which they have already investigated, and their report on the same will be released in 3 days. The Commission requested the court to allow them to issue letters to a select number of recruits who had been picked in a clean process.
we proceed with our report with the court. Issue letters to the payments and not issue letters to the that is the situation. That is a very serious position.
The Independent Medical Legal Unit has, in the meantime, requested to be incorporated in the case as an interested party. Michael Njenga, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Well, thanks for that, Mike, and your views are coming in on this issue. At Papias Mangi on Twitter, he says, yes, it's a great step towards justice for many qualified candidates who were denied the chance to serve Kenya. Another one here from Dominic Moses, and he says, this one is from Barmuriat. He says, a free, fair, transparent, and accountable recruitment is what many Kenyans want to prevail. Keep your thoughts coming in. Now, Lands Cabinet Secretary Charity Mgilu says her ministry will implement to the letter the recommendations of an ongoing audit on the cancellation of titles for close to 500,000 acres of land in Lamu. Speaking during an extensive tour of Tana River and Lamu counties on Sunday, Mgilu pledged to see to it that the ownership of land grabbed by powerful individuals and companies is revoked and the land redistributed to Lamu County residents. Alex Kubasu has the details for us.
Even as the debate on President Uhuru Kenyatta's directive ordering the revocation of title deeds for nearly 500,000 acres issued to 22 entities registered on, the Ministry of Land maintains it will conduct a thorough audit on the said land transactions and implement the recommendation of that audit without fear or favor.
Now who is who wants land in Lamu? Si wananchi hawa wako mbele yangu. Ni wale wakubwa mabwenyenye.
Mgilu, who was accompanied by several leaders from the region, including Lamu Governor Issa Timami, reminded county residents there of the massive importance of the LAPSET project, which will link the Kenyan coast and the country and the entire East African region.
Hiyo ranches 6 ambazo ni za wananchi wenyewe wa hapa Lamu sisikuzwe. Nimesema hiyo tutaiangalia na viongozi hawa watuonyeshe hii ndio ya watu wetu, ili tuone ile imechukuliwa na hawa mabwenyenye itarudishwa kwa wenyewe. That is a simple example.
There have been suggestions that the project raised the price of land in the county and may have indirectly contributed to the rush for prime parcels of land there.
Hii project ya LAPSET itawafaidi sana, wale watapata faida kubwa sana ni watu wa Lamu. Kazi ile itatokea hapa kwanza ni ya watu wa Lamu, hata si kwingine.
Mambo ya ardhi hayako chini ya provincial administration. Machifu hawana haki ya kumpa mtu yoyote ardhi. Na sasa tunasema bado kuna wengine bado wana hiyo tabia. Tutawashika na tutawashika.
Mgilu has in recent weeks differed with the National Lands Commission over the handling of the Lamu plots revocations. The National Lands Commission has maintained that it is the body constitutionally empowered to revoke title deeds and will investigate the issues of the title deeds that have been revoked recently. Alex Kubasu for Citizen Live at 12.
We're staying in the coastal area, and an acute water shortage has hit Malindi and Kilifi towns and their environs for nearly 2 weeks now. The problem has left residents in anguish as they are forced to spend time and money searching for water. Businesses and hospitals in the area have also been hard hit by the water shortage.
Residents in Malindi and Kilifi towns have been forced to trek to water kiosks in their neighborhood to purchase the precious commodity. Others have been forced to rely on salty water from nearby wells as they cannot afford to purchase water from the vendors' kiosks.
Hatuna hata time ya kufanya kazi zozote wala kupikia watoto, maana tuna shida ya maji. Hii Malindi kama sasa hivi tumefikisha wiki 2. Hatuna kazi za kufanya isipokuwa ni kuzunguka maji peke yake.
Tunachukua maji kutoka mbali ya kisima ya chumbi, tukijaribu kunywa hainywiki. Hata huwa tunashinda sana kwa choo ile iko na maji ya kutumika kwa maji. Kuna hatari kubwa kwa maana watu wataambukizwa kolera wengine kwa kukosa maji safi.
Fika bili ya maji huwa wanakuja haraka watu wa maji, lakini kule kujitahidi kuleta maji ni vigumu, lakini hakuna siku bili ya maji inapungua.
They now claim that perennial power outages in the area have hit the nearby Baricho waterworks, causing the current water shortage. Salimi, Citizen Live.
Well, access to clean water is something that is guaranteed in the Constitution. We hope the national and county governments are watching. Now, the Coalition for Reforms and Democracy insists county allocations cannot be left at the mercy of the government and parliament if devolution is to work effectively. Opposition co-principal Kalonzo Musyoka says unless county governments are assured of at least 45% of the national budget, then devolution would fail, hence the need for a referendum to change the constitution to prevent that. Francis Gashuri reports.
CORD will on Wednesday kick off the process of collecting at least 1 million signatures from registered voters as required by the Constitution to validate a referendum bid. CORD co-principal and Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka insists the referendum agenda was unstoppable despite opposition from the government. Nairobi Senator Mike Sonko, who attended a fundraiser at AIC Jericho with Musyoka, however told the opposition to seek alternative solutions to the country's challenges.
Sasa mazungumzo dialogue will be through a properly structured referendum. Na tunaanza wiki hii. Watu wengi hapa Songo sikufiki wako tayari kuweka ile sahihi. They are ready. Whatever they are. So that we can all move and move this country to the next level. Sasa naona tukakawa na eneo amekubali. Jubilee msiwache nyuma. It can be a more encompassing referendum.
The referendum debate also played out in West Pokot County, with area leaders reading from different scripts on the process, as well as the establishment of county development boards that have been opposed by governors.
Kuwa na bodi ya kusimamia mambo ya maendeleo ya kaunti si jambo mbaya. Lakini vile mambo haya vile tumechunguza katika hiyo mswada ama hiyo sheria kabisa imewekwa vibaya, ichafuata katiba, na sisi hatuwezi kukubali kama viongozi wa kaunti.
Kuna ile miaka 3 ambapo wa TA wanaendelea kuona kwamba county government imechukua nafasi yake devolution, national government imechukua sehemu yake. Hatujamaliza miaka 3. Wangeuliza sana hii mambo ya referendum. Tuanze ni mzuri kujadiliana na kwanza kuangalia sehemu gani ambayo iko mbaya. Lakini sioni kama ina faida saizi tuanze kusema kwamba governors waende yao, CORD waende yao.
But other than pushing for more allocation to county governments, some CORD leaders are also proposing changes to the country's system of administration. The Central Member of Parliament Joe Mutambo claims the pure presidential system of government was not all-inclusive.
Na tukienda kwa hiyo referendum, I am proposing tusiulize tu maswali, tusiende tu kwa referendum. Lazima tuende kwa referendum ambayo iko na maana, a significant one, which will change the lives of these people and which will change our nation. Nilisema na saa hii ndio imekuwa wimbo, let us go for a rational presidency.
Any changes to the constitution through the popular initiative route must be supported by at least 24 out of 47 county assemblies and either the National Assembly or the Senate before Kenyans determine the fate of such proposed changes to the constitution through a yes or no vote in a referendum. Francis Gashuri, Citizen Live, at 1.
A Boda operator who has been missing for more than 4 days in Voi constituency was yesterday found beaten and dumped at Voi Sisal Estates by family members after a long search. Benson Bella was reported missing after he was seen ferrying a passenger from Voi to Maungu. Hassan Farah brings us the details.
Boda operators in Taita Taveta County are fearing for their lives after one of their own, Benson Bella, was allegedly abducted by unknown people believed to have posed as passengers. The passengers are said to have hired the motorbike to be ferried from Maungu to Voi. Efforts to trace him were futile, forcing family members to search for him in police cells, hospitals, and even local mortuary. The relatives further looked for the missing Mbela in national parks and Sisal estates.
It is insecure. Na wakati kijana amekodishwa na mtu, aambie wenzake, ashirikishe wenzake kwamba nimeitwa na mtu anampeleka mahali fulani, itakuwa ni vizuri, wale wenzake watajua fulani ametoka na ameenda sehemu hii.
The chairman of the Boda operators in the area, Mohammed Omar, lamented over rising insecurity targeting Boda operators and urged security officers to act swiftly. Benson Mbela is currently admitted at Moi Hospital where he is receiving treatment. Hassan Farah, Citizen Live at 1.
Well, our apologies for that technical hitch with the sound there. Landera Member of Parliament Mohammed Shidia now wants the Kenya Certificate of Primary Education examinations to be done away with, to be scrapped altogether. Shidia pointed out that the current primary education system is only focused on passing exams instead of gaining knowledge. The MP spoke when he issued bursary checks in his constituency. He added that he will be tabling a bill in Parliament to stop examinations at the primary school level. He expressed hope that his colleagues in Parliament will back the bill.
With the primary certificate of education, because that's waste of time. If a student starts from primary one, let him finish at Form 4. Let him drop out when he's Form 4. When he's already 18 years and above, when he's mature. At the bottom line, the minimum qualification a person should have is secondary education.
We'd love to get your take on that. Do you think primary examinations should be scrapped altogether? 22422 is the SMS number, or you can share your views with us on Twitter as well, or on Facebook. Now, a 20-year-old secondary school student in Trans Nzoia County has seen her educational development stall due to a rare medical condition that affects her legs. Faith Malika Besibo should have sat her Form 4 exams 2 years ago, but she's still in high school due to the severe swelling on both her legs. Salim Bilu tells us more.
It is one of those rare days Faith Masibo doesn't have to struggle through class. The absence of pain, what for a while makes her sit normally among her Form 3 colleagues before her next bout of pain, before she has to be reminded once again that she's not like the rest of the students. Faith wears longer skirts in comparison to her colleagues so as to cover her legs, owing to a condition that has caused her legs to swell over the years. The swelling first started when she was just 5 years of age.
Ugonjwa huu wakati ulipoanza ilikuwa ngumu sana kujua imekosiwa na nini. By then doctor alikuwa anasema hawajui the main cause.
Faith Masibo's plight was first highlighted by Citizen TV in 2011. At the time, a well-wisher came to her aid, enabling her to undergo surgery at the Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital.
Nilikuwa vizuri, that is for the 1 year, buzi kwa yuma, and they were light compared to the first time.
Dr. Ashraf Emara was among the surgeons who attended to Faith Masibo then, after diagnosing her with lymphedema, a chronic condition in which excess fluid collects in tissues, causing swelling. Although lymphedema tends to affect just one arm or leg, sometimes both arms or both legs may be swollen.
Most dangerous complications of this is just the transformation of this lymphedematous tissue into cancerous tissue. Fortunately enough, that is quite very, very rare. But the common complications of weight and multiple ulcers, multiple blisters, multiple infections are really quite common.
Had it not been for complications resulting from her condition that forced her out of class, Faith would have sat her KCPE exams in 2012. But the 20-year-old is still a student at AIC Kapkoi Secondary School in Trans Nzoia County.
So the problem is that at times miguu niuma. I don't go to school. I have to stay at home for some time, of which inani disturb because of the syllabus. And another thing is pia imeni affect macho. I can't see vizuri.
Hawezi tembea muda mrefu. Hii miguu ni mzito sana na kutembea hawezi na anapenda masomo. Hawezi hata ukimwambia akae anakuambia mama acha tu niende. Mpaka saa hizi kuna wenye wanamuoneanga tu huruma wakati yenye nimekosa pesa wampepe na pikipiki mpaka shuleni.
She's supposed to come for follow-up, and once we see her again, we might schedule her for another debulking surgery.
The cost of more medical checkups and surgery is one that Faith's mother cannot afford to foot, and so for Faith Masibo, her quest to seek medical help continues as it stands in the way of her pursuit for education and a journalism career she desires to pursue.
We'll take your break now. Interesting SMS here from Nixon in Kindaruma. He says, Julie, if for real IPOA manages to reverse the police recruitment, I shall believe that it is possible to have zero tolerance to corruption. Thank you for sharing that optimistic view. We're going to take a break now. We come back to more on Citizen Live at 1. Don't go away. Welcome back to Citizen Live at 1. Good news for you now. The cost of electricity in the country is expected to reduce by 47% in the next 3 years. Now, Energy and Petroleum Principal Secretary Engineer Joseph Njoroge has said the cost of electricity for domestic consumers will be reduced to 88 shillings per kilowatt hour once an additional 5,000 megawatts of power is injected into the national grid. Speaking in Thika during the launch of a 55 million shilling program to revamp Thika Town's electricity supply infrastructure, Engineer Njoroge said the country will move away from over-reliance on hydro and thermal power in order to reduce the overall cost of power. Kenya's installed electricity generation capacity currently stands at 1,642 megawatts, 60% of which is derived from hydro and fuel sources. The government plans to quadruple that capacity to slightly over 6,600 megawatts, with geothermal, wind and solar power expected to provide the bulk of additional power.
Our target is actually to reduce the retail electricity, starting with the major customers. Currently, it's an average of about 15 US cents, which we want to reduce to about 9 US cents. And the other one, of the ordinary, the domestic customers, from the current about 19 US cents to only about 10 US cents. So we've got very good plans that will address the three areas that Wanawanyuke talked about, that is affordability, availability, and reliability.
Well, certainly everyone looking forward to a reduction in power prices. Dr. Titus Naikuni, the outgoing Group Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Kenya Airways, has been appointed the Chairman of Rift Valley Railways. His appointment will take effect in November this year upon his retirement as Kenya Airways boss. Naikuni will take over from Ngugi Kiuna, who represented infrastructure investment company TransCentury on RVR's board of directors prior to TransCentury's exit through the sale of its stake in RVR. That happened in April. He's expected to bring past experience gained in the transport sector, both as a chief executive and as a government technocrat as well. This amid ongoing efforts by the regional railway operator to revitalize railway transport operations along the Kenya-Uganda Railway. Now moving to the forex markets, and the Kenya shilling remained little changed on the first day of trading this week, according to the Central Bank of Kenya. Commercial banks have quoted the shilling at 87 shillings and 81 cents buying, 87 shillings 98 cents selling. The home unit, however, lost to the euro to exchange at 117 shillings 63 cents buying, 117 shillings 88 cents selling. But it gained to the sterling pound to trade at 147 shillings 29 cents buying, 147 shillings and 62 cents selling. Now the local unit held steady to both the Tanzanian and Ugandan currencies to change hands at 18 shillings and 80 cents buying, 18 shillings and 96 cents selling versus the Tanzanian unit, and 29 shillings 72 cents buying, 29 shillings 89 cents selling to the Ugandan. From the forex, we're moving straight to sport. Welcome to Studio Waihigawara. What do you have for us?
Right, well, it's quite a fact bulletin, and I think the first story is, you remember 1986, Diego Maradona's hand of God, where he scored, was it a handball or not, we've never been able to sort that one out. Now that hand was used for the wrong purposes this weekend. He slapped or hit a journalist. Can you believe it?
It's been all downhill for him for a long time.
The worst thing is, you do it in front of the cameras. So we have that story. And of course, we're going to repeat Arsenal's goals, because Arsenal fans at Citizen want to lynch me if I don't put those goals on there. So we're going to be taking a look at that and much more right after this short break. We'll be right back.